In the last couple of weeks, I've had a number of conversations with clients and prospective clients who are stuck. Stuck with decision making, stuck with their business, stuck with life, even just in a position where they don't feel like they're moving forward with anything. They've lost clarity about what they're trying to do next. They've been working hard at something and it hasn't perhaps worked out quite as they thought. This feeling of being stuck is like being at a crossroads with not sure which way to go next, or at a junction in a road going, well, which way do I go? Including, I don't know which way to go. All I know is what we've been doing is being a bit painful. And this sometimes can be created as a result of the economy. And we all get like that, including myself and Vicki. We struggle with these sorts of things from time to time. And what I want to help you in this video, if that's you feeling a little bit stuck, is how to get unstuck, how to actually shift from that point where you can't go forward to a point where you can generate some momentum, some energy, some excitement back in whatever you're doing, and move off this square that you're on. And this process that I'm going to run through with you is actually a core tool and process that we use with all of our clients on an ongoing basis. But more in particular, I'm going to share something with you along the way, is we use it ourselves. It's something I do all of the time. And I must admit, the feeling of being stuck is far less now as I've got older and wiser and understood more about this than it ever was before. Because, yeah, as I've grown up in my business experience, 35 years doing this, there's been plenty of times I've been frustrated, I've been stuck, and I've been really just not knowing what way to go and what to do next. And I think sometimes that's it. We have big goals and big plans for this is what I'd like to do next year and this is where we're trying to go. But sometimes it's Monday morning and you're not feeling it. What have I got to do today to just get off this square and onto the next thing that feels positive, that feels like I'm winning? And as human beings, we want to win. As human beings, we want to feel like we're making progress. And I think that's why a lot of people who are entrepreneurs really love the entrepreneurial journey, because despite whatever it is you're building as a business, whatever you're doing, underneath it is this sense of achievement, this sense of, well, I'm doing something for me and my family. I'm doing something that I'm in control of. I'm doing something that rewards me because I just feel like I'm making that sort of progress. But it's when we don't make progress, it's when we get stuck, that's what I'm really trying to help you with here, if that makes sense. So hopefully I've got that message over as to what this video is about. And then from that, you can sit back and listen to what I've got to say in this and take away some of the points and put things into action that I'm going to give you. And it starts off with three key areas. So, well, in fact, I'm going to correct myself on that. It starts with one really important area. And that important area is we need to stop. Okay? The most important thing you can do, if you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're feeling like you're stuck, if you're feeling unsure about something, the first thing to do is stop. Just get off the world for a minute and let's just have a little bit of a think. Life, social media, the internet, people, it comes as such really fast. I sometimes think of it, if you've ever driven at night in the snow and the snow is coming at you like a Star Wars film. There's all this stuff coming at you. And sometimes that's really hard to drive in because it's just overstimulating. And that's how life can feel sometimes, like it's all coming at me. And I found the best way is to just stop. What do I mean by stop? Well, grab yourself a notepad and a pen. Take yourself off somewhere. Unplug yourself from the internet. Leave your phone behind. And go and sit somewhere. Sit in your favourite chair in your living room. Go out and sit on a park bench. Go for a walk in the woods and sit on a log. Go to the beach and just sit somewhere. Basically, you need to just get yourself in an environment where nobody's asking anything of you. No children, no partner, no staff, clients, everybody just go away and leave me alone. Don't need to do this for long, maybe an hour or two. Sometimes it's nice to do it for a day, sometimes even a weekend. That's why we run retreats sometimes, is that get away for a whole couple of days and just get away from the noise. And in doing so, allow your brain to slow down a little bit. Just stop everything. And what we need to do is unpack it. And this is what we do with the stopping. We stop, we grab ourselves a notepad. And the reason I say that first is you cannot believe how many people don't know how to stop. So we run, as part of our client process, we run a quarterly event in a beautiful hotel in the depth of the New Forest in the south of England. It's a lovely location. The forest itself is magical at all times of year, and there's wild ponies and horses and cows and pigs walking around the streets, and it's just a magical place, the forest, with all the trees. And people arrive at the event, and just driving to the venue, parking up the car, walking into this lovely hotel, often people just go, oh my God, I feel like I've just stepped into another universe away from everything, because it forces them to do that stopping bit. And it's a really important part of why we choose such a lovely hotel to go to make people stop at least once a quarter to review and reset and think about what's going on. And that's part of this process. So what do you do when you stop? Well, you grab yourself a notepad, some paper and a pen, and good old-fashioned writing. It's no good trying to do this on a digital tablet or a Word document. Forget it. And the reason for that, there is a real connection with your hand-eye coordination when you're writing that allows you to bring some thoughts out. That's why I have whiteboards around. I put a lot of my thinking down in this sort of style. I can then digitalize it later on. I can turn it into something practical later on from a digital perspective, but I need to just unpack my thoughts. And so often I've got notepads on the desk here where I'm just scribbling notes and doing little doodles because they mean something to me. But for this exercise, what we're going to do is we're going to actually do 3 exercises. And the first exercise is, what are you trying to do? Okay, not what are you trying to do next, what problem are you trying to solve, what client issue you're dealing with, what staff issue, what child issue, relationship issue. No. Stop a minute. If we could fix all of this, what would life be like in the future? What is the perfect day for you sometime in the future? And that's what we talk about in our vision. Okay, the perfect day, the perfect week. But when to do that? Well, how about 3-5 years into the future? Just sit. When was the last time you sat and imagined what it would be like in 5 years' time? Great if you've got like a big birthday coming up. Maybe you're coming up to be 30 or 40 or 50 or 60, right? You've got something big coming up, or an anniversary, or maybe one of your children has reached an age where they might change schools or go to university. So those sorts of things are quite big in people's lives, that somewhere down the line in the next 3 to 5 years, maybe something that will happen. And the reason I say that is because somewhere in your conversations might be, oh, when little Johnny's left school and off to university, we might move house. Or when this happens, we'll probably do this. You've already got some of those things in your mind as to what the future might look like. And it might have been attached to these kind of pegs in the ground based on specific dates. So look forward into the future. And we do something called a hot pen technique. It's great fun to do and perfect for being in a quiet location. Takes about 20 minutes, half an hour to do. The longer the better, because it really gets into your mind as to what's going out. And you basically grab a pen and you say to yourself, it's somewhere in the future. You put the day's date, so it's June, whatever, somewhere in the future. Life is perfect. Life is great because. My life is perfect because. And finish that sentence. But here's the thing. As you write down all the things that you think that life would be perfect for you in the future, you have to write consistently for 25 minutes without taking your pen off the paper. You've got to keep writing. So you describe the house you live in, you describe the relationships, you describe the way you work, you describe your body. Are you fit and healthy? Have you achieved certain things? You describe the holidays you go on, the trips you go on. You describe the people around you. You describe what life is like. You describe breakfast. You describe, where you commute, what car you drive, what boat you have, what helicopter you have, what plane you have, all the visions that come out of it. You describe it and you write it down. And it doesn't matter that it's random, because your brain will go random. You'll talk about a house over here, next thing you'll be talking about holiday, and then you might think about your car, and then you might think about the kids. There is no right or wrong answer to it. Just get it out. But because you've got to keep writing, you're write and write away, and your brain will trigger all sorts of thoughts. And occasionally you'll go, oh, and you're stuck. You can feel it being proper stuck. When you're stuck, you write. I'm now stuck. I don't know what to write. Write that. I don't know what to write. I don't know what to write. I don't know what to write. This is a stupid exercise. Why am I doing this? I don't know what to write. Okay? Just write. You mustn't stop. Because what happens is when you go, I don't know what to write, your brain will go, well, I've got something to write. And it'll drop it into your thought process, and then you can continue writing it. Okay? So it's a fun exercise. I guarantee at the end of it, after 25 minutes of writing, your hand will ache. But I also guarantee that you'll have this big pile of paper in front of you, this notepad, where it'll start off quite neat, and towards the end it'll get a bit scruffy as you unpack everything, because your arm aches and all the rest of it. But it'll also be, some people find it really quite exhausting, because it's the only time you've ever done it, the only time you've actually thought about the vision for your future. And once you've got all this document out, with all this writing on it, and it could be pages and pages. The last one I did was about 5 pages of A4 of all the things, and I was really, really pushing my thought process, including some of the things that perhaps I'd thought about as a child and dismissed completely. Well, let's bring all those onto the table. Let's bring all the things onto the table. You've then got this document of your thoughts, right? Go off and do something else, let it all percolate a little bit. Now come back and produce a summary of this document. What you'll be able to do is probably categorize some of these things into different aspects of your life. You might even find that one category dominates all the other categories. Quite often, if you're entrepreneurial and you're the leader of your business, you might just find that it's all about work. Us fellas are really good at that. Ladies are pretty good at it as well, but I know from my perspective, when I first started doing this, it was nearly all about work. Because to me, that work solves all the other problems. If I can sort the money stuff out and I can sort the work out, then I've got the money to do all the other things that we do. But of course, you know that life doesn't always need money. You don't need money to have a great relationship with your partner. You don't need money to have a great relationship with your kids. You need time. You don't need money to look after your body and health. You just need time and process and to do things differently, change of habits, that sort of thing. So what this does is it identifies what it is that you want. You'll probably find in there will be things to do with work and business. There'll be things to do there with maybe long-term wealth plans and money. There'll be things in there that perhaps should be to do with health and well-being and how you feel, both in physically and mentally. Relationships with your significant other, with important people in your life, with family, with extended family and friends. So relationships with important people. What about home life and your surroundings? Maybe you want to move house, maybe you want to decorate, maybe you want to put an extension on, maybe you want to just make the place a little bit better to live in or whatever. So there's the home life. What about fun and relaxation? What fun things do you want to do? What trips do you want to go on? Holidays do you want to go on? Theatre? New hobbies? Learn to play a musical instrument? Speak a different language? All the things that are in there, they should all be in there. And if you've got to the end of it and you realise that a lot of that is missing, well, that's going to tell you something as well. And this is why just categorising it will give you an idea. Well, guess what? It's free. You can go and do it again. Okay? Get another pad, write it all out, add some things in, fill in the gaps. Okay? Because what we're trying to do in this exercise is, it's a little bit like an architect turning up to your home and you're saying, I'd like to build a big extension. He's going, okay, what's it look like? Well, I don't know, you're the architect. And it's like, well, he can draw whatever you want. He can come up with any idea, including mad ones. But unless he knows which direction you're trying to go, unless he knows what it is you're trying to do, he can't really help you. And therefore, this is your sort of brief of your life to say, basically, that's my life in the future. And if it's not, don't put it on there. It may be that you find things on there that actually need to come off of there. But it gives you this sort of structure of where you want to go. So that's the first bit, a vision of your future. What does life look like in the future? And the great thing is, it costs you nothing. It's pure make-believe. It should be a fun exercise. The second thing we're going to do is we're going to actually look at the identity of who we need to become. So who do you need to become to achieve that lifestyle that you put in the future? And this now challenges you as an individual. This is the sort of conversations that people will say to me. Oh, I would like that big house, but I would like to achieve that, but. And when they put a but in front of it, they're suggesting that they doubt it, they disbelieve it. So therefore, in terms of identity, right now, you don't feel like you're worthy or you can achieve any of those. But this is the question. Who do you need to become in order to achieve those? I've got some clients in the yacht industry, and I've been out to places like Monaco and places like that, and you see these incredible super yachts, unbelievable, 7, 8 decks with helicopters on the back and the front, just monster boats, of which the cost to build, I know because of my clients, is hundreds of thousands of pounds. Sorry, millions of pounds, hundreds of millions of pounds to build some of these. They're huge amounts of money, okay? Now, there's one conversation you can say, like I've just said, is, wow, hundreds of millions of pounds. Because, yeah, that's a big number for me to even think about. But the person who's just spent 200 million on a boat, what sort of person do you think they are? What's their identity? Do you think they've gone, yeah, I'll buy one of those, and while I'm at it, I'll buy one of those? Do you think it's like pocket change to them? Might be. Okay? They're thinking around it, they're thinking about the thing, is just like anything that you've bought that's expensive. It's just relative. It's just got more zeros on the end. So if you've recently, in the last couple of years, bought yourself a new car and it's the most expensive car you've bought, at one point you didn't believe it. But when you did believe you could buy the car, you went and bought the car. Or some furniture, a TV or something that you bought that was a bit more expensive than you've ever done. It's kind of the joys of being a grown-up sometimes, is when you're a kid, you want all these things, but now you're a grown-up, you can still be a kid, but you got money to do the things. And so this belief level, this confidence that we have, this character of who we are, and this is why the who bit is important. Who do you need to become? What needs to change in your life? It might be that you've got time management issues. You're not very good at organising your time. You're always late for things. Oh, I wish I was better organised with my time. I wish I was better at planning. I wish I was better at communicating to people. I wish I was more confident to stand up and do YouTube videos. That was me many years ago. Okay, I wish I could do this stuff. And therefore, in order to move into my vision of the future, I had to change my identity to do YouTube videos, to stand here and just waffle away to a camera in my little studio at home in the hope that somebody will find it interesting enough to maybe leave a nice comment or subscribe or whatever, right? This is something that I've had to overcome, and it's just a relatively small thing because I feel really confident to do it now. I'm achieving that vision, all right? So that's the part of the exercise as you put this together, is to now think about who you need to become. See if you can identify traits, see if you can identify habits that need to change. Because if you think about it, our habits are what actually get our results. If we get up in the morning and we go and clean our teeth and we go to have breakfast and we take the kids to school and we get in the car and we drive to a place of work and we do a certain job and we do things and we take phone calls, and all of them are little habits of our life, of which most of them are baked in. And if we do them day in, day out, you will find that as time drifts by, after a month, 3 months, 6 months, a year, your results will come from those habitual actions that you've done every single day. Therefore, if you're trying to lose weight and you don't do something about the food input and the exercise, you're either going to put on more weight or you're going to stay at the same weight. You're not going to lose weight unless you actually change your diet, change the habits. Likewise, if you are managing a team of people and working with a team of people, if you have an open door policy where everybody interrupts you all day long and you don't get anything done, well, the habit of having the door open and no structure to how people communicate with you is a poor habit that's leading you to chaos and overwhelm and inability to get stuff done. These can be fixed with relatively simple things like shut the door and make it an appointment booking system only. It's stuff like that, okay? It's just about managing your time. And some of that comes down to your own thoughts about it. Well, I can't shut my door because my team will think I'm rude. I can't shut my door because my team need me, okay? I can't shut my door and block myself away for a couple of hours to get some work done because what if they don't do the job properly? What if they need help and support? Well, fine. You need to think about that and restructure your day to change these little habits, because the person you need to become to move forward in your life might be the person who is more disciplined around their time, who is more disciplined around money, who is more present in conversations with family members. In order to be present in a conversation with children, you have to get down to their level. You have to perhaps get onto your knees and look at them at eye level and put your phone down and put the computers down and have a conversation with them, spend time with them, sit on the floor and play with them. Okay, that's being present. But if you're sitting there, oh, I wish I was more present with my kids, well, what's the habit that needs to change so that you can do that on a consistent, regular basis that creates some joy and happiness and good memories around you? So you see, this identity bit is really important. Then, of course, you end up with some actions, okay? And actions are really a case of saying, well, if I've got this 3 to 5 year plan and I've got this sort of list of habits and things that I need to change on a personal basis that's going to lead me towards that, 3 to 5 years is a big thing, okay? So what we do is we chunk that down into, we look at our 3-year vision or a 5-year vision and we look it back and we go, okay, what's it like going to be in 1 year? In which case, let's break our year up into 90-day buckets, okay? And therefore, the only thing to really think about is that if we're on this journey for the next 3 to 5 years to achieve our vision over here, and we're going to work on our habits and change the sort of person that we need to be to get that, then let's start with baby steps for the next 90 days. What is our action plan for the next 90 days? What are the things that we could achieve between now and 90 days' time? And if we break them down into little categories, like over here, we might have 2 or 3 things that we want to do for home, a couple of things we'd like to do with relationships, maybe there's some things to do with health and well-being, maybe there's a few things with fun and relaxation, maybe there's a money and wealth goal for the next 90 days, maybe there's some business goals for the next 90 days. So it could be simply as, do you know, in the next 90 days I think we can do 6 really good dates with my other half. Okay, Vicki and I often do that. It's a repeat goal. Could we do more dates next quarter? Because we love going on dates together. We love going out together. So put it in there. Because if we don't make that a bit of a goal, if we don't create that as an action step, it's very easy to find that you're living with somebody and spending your life with somebody and you actually haven't done the thing that got you there in the first place. You haven't been on a date for years. All right? Dates are fun. All right? Put them in. Maybe you want to meet up with some friends that you've lost touch with a little bit. Maybe you've got a crowd of friends that, you know, business has got busy, life's got busy, you haven't seen your friends for a while. Well, put it in the calendar. I'd like to make a point of seeing at least one of my friends every month for the next 3 months. So I'm going to see 3 friends over the next 3 months. I'm going to go out for a coffee with them. I'm going to go out for lunch. I'm going to go for a beer with them, right? I'm going to make the special effort to do that. Now, if you set that as a bit of a goal for the next 90 days, all of that is going to be part of your future vision. And that is that you have a future vision, perhaps that you have a really great relationship with your partner. It could be that you actually have great relationship with your friends and children. Well, the only way you're going to get that great relationship is you actually do the things along the way that identify this as a great relationship. The other great thing about it is there's an awful lot of things you can do in the next 90 days that you can count as a win. I've done that, I've done that, I've done that, I've done that, a win. You can go on a date with your partner, that's a win. You don't need money for that. Now, from a business perspective, you might be saying, well, I need more money. Over here, I need £1 million to do the things that I'm going to do. Great. Well, in the next 90 days, what can you do? In the next 90 days, maybe deeper down in amongst it is you haven't got very good systems in your business. Everything is chaos. So let's focus on getting systems right. Let's put a time management system in. Let's put a project management system. Let's put a CRM system in. Let's put some automation in. Maybe you need better sales and marketing. Maybe there isn't consistent sales coming in. Maybe you need more customers. Great. What you need is a sales and marketing process that operates on a repeatable and reliable basis. You go, I haven't got that. Well, let's, for the next 90 days, build that system. Because if we build that system here, it'll then go and repeat the next little quarter, the next quarter, the next quarter. And in a year's time, that system, you just better turn the handle and you've got regular clients coming in. Great. That means over the next 5 years, you're going to be able to generate the money to do all the things that you need to do. So it could be that that's a problem. It could be you've reached a place with your business where you actually now need to employ somebody. Great. Well, the next 90 days, employ the right person. Really put the effort in to make sure you onboard the right member of staff. Something I say to clients often, if you've got crappy clients and you've got terrible staff, it's all your fault. You invited them in, you didn't train them properly. Okay? So if you've got a client from hell and you're trying to service them, think back to how they became a client. You convinced them to become a client. The same goes with a member of staff. If you've got a member of staff that does your head in, well, how did they become your member of staff, and who's been training them and actually giving them clear instructions? Maybe that's all missing. Well, we've got to put that right and fix it. Well, that's what you can do in the next 90 days. Now, here's the thing. All of those little suggestions for the next 90 days, 90 days is just far enough away to give you the space and the time to get stuff done, and also just about believable that you said, well, if I had to employ somebody in the next 90 days, I'm sure I could find somebody and have them working for me in 90 days by the time I've done the interviews and second interviews and yada, 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 and they've given notice on that. Yeah, about right, 90 days. Could I build out a sales and marketing campaign for the next 90 days? Could I do a Dream 100? Could I go and search the internet and find 100 perfect prospects that I'd like to sell to and send some letters out to them in the next 90 days? Just 100. Yeah, I think I probably could do that in 90 days. Okay, well, what do I write? What do I got to do? Okay, well, that's now the sub goal of the actions. In other words, they turn into to-dos. That's where our to-dos come from. Our to-dos are part of that project. If we're going to do a marketing campaign, that's the campaign, that's the goal, to get the campaign done within that period of time. And the to-dos are the little tiny bits and pieces, the research, the process, the writing of the copy, the communication, etc., that's got to be done to make that campaign work. And then send it out and see what happens. Do the follow-ups. Same goes with relationships with family members and children, etc., etc. If you want to spend more time with your kids and your family and your friends, what do we need? Well, we need a calendar. So we can take our calendar for the next 90 days and we go, okay, I'm going to have some dates with my wife in the next 90 days. Great. Well, stop for a minute, back to stop, get the calendar out, have a quick search. What do you want to do? We can book the theatre, we can book cinema, we can book dinner, we can book XYZ, and put it in the calendar and block it and invite them. Don't forget that bit. All right. No good turning up on a date without the other person, but put it in the calendar and block it. And now what we're starting to do is map out our time over this 90-day period. And it's believable because you can see the 90-day calendar on your screen. You can go, right, that's what we're going to do. Put it in there. All these are the sorts of things that we're doing. So this whole process that we do is what we call the 90-day breakthrough. And we actually have a little journal. I say a little journal, it's quite a big journal. This is actually my personal journal that I've been using for nearly 90 days now because I'm coming to the end of it. It's full of my scribbles and notes, etc. It's something that our clients use, and we use it every single day, to keep us on track for these 90-day goals. So the process helps us identify the vision and the goals. It helps us break that down into the categories and helps us put the 90-day action plan together. It helps us, remind us and keeps us on track of our identity. And then we go through the process and tick our goals off. I'm coming towards the end of this particular 90-day period. I think I've got maybe 3 weeks to go. And I can already tell you that some of these things have got ticks in, but I also know that one particular action, I haven't even got it off the ground. It hasn't started yet. And that's a combination of This one down here is also not completed, which would provide the income to do that. But also, I just haven't had the capacity, even though despite 90 days ago I said I would do that, I haven't had the mental capacity, the weather's been against me a little bit, to get that goal underway. Probably in amongst it all, if I really analyse it, there's probably an element of doubt in my mind whether I can achieve that goal. Okay, so that's what I'm trying to achieve. And that then wraps up the final part of this, is that as we put this together and we go through this process, and you can do this yourself over a 90-day period, just get yourself a notepad, write a list of goals, put them into some sort of category, and then backtrack and work out what those goals would have to be in 90 days to be on track for the 3 to 5 year vision. Work out if there's things that you need to change, habits that you perhaps need to think about and change, and then do it every day. But in order to do it every day, you need to keep a note of it every day. We have a journal. Our clients can have a journal. We have a 90-day program. I'll put the link to the 90-day program. If you want to find out more about it, you can click on the link and call us, and you can do the 90-day program. Nice and easy, okay? But as part of the 90-day program, what we need to do is do a review along the way. We actually need to check in. So we have a series of reviews daily. In the morning, this is what I'm going to do. This action I'm going to do today in the next 8 to 10 hours. And at the end of the day, how did you get on? Did you do what you said you were going to do? What did you learn? What was your wins? Bit of gratitude, bit of celebration. That's what happens. Then we have a weekly. Hey, you've done a whole week of this stuff. What did you do at the week? Did you achieve all the things you set out to do? Then, what are you going to do next week? It's a bit of planning for the week ahead. And you write down your plan. We only set 3 goals a week, 3 things to achieve by the end of the week. The number of times I write down 3 things and I get to the end of the week, I've done 2 of them. Got a week, but I didn't do the 3rd thing. Now it's a combination. I forgot. It's a combination of I needed other people. It's a combination of I couldn't be asked. It couldn't be bothered. It wasn't very exciting. But these are the 3 things that are part of my big term vision. All I'm doing is delaying the bigger goals. Okay. Then we do a 30-day review and a 90-day review. So the 90-day review is, right, well, how did you get on? And the thing about it is, if you can prove to yourself that you can have some wins, move the needle, make progress, you will also identify why you made progress and why you didn't. Why is it some days you get up with all the good intentions and you don't achieve things? Okay, how about analyze it? What went on in your head? What were you thinking about this morning, yesterday? What was going on in your world? What caused it? How can you stop that from happening again? All right, these are the things that we've got to learn from this process. And so this whole process, as messy as it is on the board behind me, is what we use to help people get unstuck. We get them to stop, just stop, reevaluate where they're going. Just like if you're in a car and you're lost, get the map out. Oh, we're trying to go over there, not over there. Right, well, we need to turn the car around and pick that road. Then along the way, we need to stop and check in that we're still on the right road, that we haven't just meandered off and taken the wrong turn in. We've got to check in and on our journey to get to where we're going. We've also got to make sure that's where we really want to go. All right, that's actually what we want to go. And on that final note, I'm actually working with a young lad running a business. He's been running it now for about a year, 18 months or so. And he's like, I don't know whether I want this. But a year, 18 months ago, he's like, yeah, that's what I want. And now he's been in it for a while. He's like, something doesn't feel right. Great. That's a brilliant decision to make, because we don't want you to spend the next 30, 40 years building a business you hate because it's the wrong thing. So stop. Let's go back through again. What have we learnt? And maybe actually you are on the wrong road. You need to completely change direction. You can do that very quickly, very easily, if you've got some support. Anyway, I hope that's been of value to you. If you've got any comments, leave them below. I'll leave you the link to the 90-day program if you want to have a look at that and come and join us. Well, you can do it from anywhere, pretty much anywhere in the world. We would welcome you on board. Otherwise, see you in the next video.